Welcome to Eating Plebian Skills Series. Today, we're going to learn how to spatchcock a chicken. Spatchcocking is simply an unusual name that is basically taking the chicken and flattening it out. It takes a little bit of time to roast or bake a entire chicken like this, simply because of the cavity on the inside and it's all mounded around. Your basic geometry would tell you that as when things are massed up in a small area, they've got a small surface area. And so, therefore, a limited amount of real estate, I guess you could call it, for the heat to get in and cook the chicken. When you spread the thing out by doing a spatchcocking, it allows the chicken to cook much faster. I've had whole chickens cooking 25 minutes or a half an hour, depending on how you were doing it. So let's get on with this. And one of the first things that we need to cover real quick is the only thing you're really going to need is the chicken itself, obviously, a cutting board, a fillet knife, and a good pair of kitchen shears. And so we'll get going with this. Obviously, I've unpackaged this from the cryovac bag that was supplied in over at the grocery store, and I have given it a thorough washing on the outside, cold water, toweled it off so we don't have puddles of moisture kind of forming here, and trying to keep everything safe from cross contamination. So having a dry bird helps a little bit. We're breast side up at the moment, but that's not going to help us because one of the things we need to do is to remove the backbone. So I'm going to flip this over, and we've got the Pope's nose down here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove it, just going right through it with possibly the world's dullest fillet knife, and set it over on my scrap tray. And if we look up, you can see just the back end of the spine here. Now, we'll need to make two cuts in order to take the spine out, one on each side, because it's not needed. And so I'm just going to begin about we'll call it a half inch away from the spine over on the right side to start. You can obviously start it on either side as you wish. And we're just going to go through it. And as we get further into the bones, it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but we get there eventually. And now we're going to go for the other side. About a half an inch away on the left side of the spine. I'm going through the bones rather easily, but obviously the abuse on these kitchen shears makes it a little tough to get the thin stuff like the skin. That is totally normal. So I got to kind of press the blades together a little bit. And there we go. Put that over on the scrap tray. So as we open and look at this now, we've got a little bit of extra fat here. We can just go ahead and get rid of that, or keep it if you want. We've got the thighs here, which we do want to open up, and the wings. One of the other things that I want to do with this bird is because of preferences within the family. My wife, for instance, prefers white meat, and she also prefers it boneless and skinless. So I'm going to, at very least, take the skin out and remove the ribs and the breastbone. And so I'm going to start up by these ribs, and I'm just going to make shallow passes underneath to this last rib. You can also see, I don't know what these bones are called, but these are also something that we want to end up losing. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to cut under those for this one side, and I'm going to stick real close so we don't lose any meat for these ribs. Pull those out. I guess I should have paid attention in anatomy classes or something. I don't know. But I'm going to continue simply to excavate using shallow cuts and following this breastbone on down. And eventually that breastbone, where it's like this right now, but what you can't see underneath is that it goes down to a keel, goes to a sharp point. So instead of going sideways, we are eventually going down in this direction. And so we, again, simply just kind of follow it down. Get through some of the shoulder gristle. And I can also find here by sticking my finger right there that that is the joint for the right wing. So I'm going to go through that. It will ease this process quite a bit now that I know where that joint is. There, come on, cut through. There we go. There's the wing. This is the connection to the breast up at the top. And I'm peeling over here so you can see a little bit better. There's the tenderloin breast tenderloin. Continue to go down that keel bone. And we're almost free. We also get to the wishbone right there. So we're going to free that up. Let's go on both sides. All right. And we are at the top. This takes so much practice. I am not nearly as fast as some of these people I've seen online doing commercial bird breakdowns that can do this so quickly it'll make your eyes spin. I only do this occasionally, and it's always a struggle, but it's just something that takes a little bit of practice. So once again, I get under the ribs. And go down. I can separate those off. Again, here's the keel bone. I'm going to get underneath that thing. I'm going to turn this slightly around. I'm not left-handed, so it just makes it a little easier. So I've excised down this way. I'm going to disconnect that wing. Right there. There we are. Get rid of this guy. And now we can go down the front of it as well. Keep following that keel bone. We are almost there, I promise. You can tell this is live and a unproduced type of arrangement here for Eating Plebian, because I've made a little bit of a mess. Right there of those tenders, but it's all done. And you'll note how it's laying right at the moment. It is nice and flat. There's the tenders, the breasts are underneath, thighs are off to the side, wings are over there, and this is ready to be seasoned and to be roasted. I just dropped the knife. That's okay, but I was done with it. And so we are actually ready to go with this bird. So thanks again for joining me here on Eating Plebian and the video skills series. Not a recipe in and of itself, but one that you can apply to a variety of meals and applications. And so we've got our spatchcock chicken. It is ready to be prepared for our dinner. If you have any questions, obviously drop them in the comments. And if you like these skills series videos or this video in general, please hit the like button, and I'd ask you to hit the subscribe as well. It helps me out in getting my content to people who probably really need to have just a little bit of motivation and a walkthrough. Some people just do not like textbook or text learning. I'm certainly one of those people, and I learn things by seeing and doing. And if this can help out, then I've been an absolute success. Thanks very much for joining us. I'll catch you next time.